Chrisean just broke her silence to provide information regarding the judicial hearings that are taking place today. She also claimed that Jaidyn was there with the kids and Junior. After leaving the court with Chrisean, Jaidyn appeared to be pretty agitated and was not happy that Journey had gotten in touch with her. It's obvious that Jaidyn didn't feel totally welcomed. They briefly broke up after Blueface accused her of cheating during a heated exchange while they were having a drink. Hi there and welcome back to Rumor Spill. But soon after, they made up, and he now appears to be happy with Chrisean. Who's that on the phone, Blue? At first, I believed I heard Blue calling. Court proceedings might take a long time to complete. Sometimes they hold everyone until 5 o'clock. Sometimes they handle the early arrivals swiftly and send them back to jail. You know he's still there. I suppose I'll have to hold off until he returns to prison. Then, since it's now 7, he might not be released until 5 or 6 o'clock, or possibly not until next week, while he waits for everyone else to be processed. Kindly record that call. Everyone is so certain there was nothing wrong. I swear he feels the same way that we should have handled things better. I'm tired of it all. It surprised us both too. I felt like I wasn't doing enough to keep our infants quiet as I gave them to him. His uncomfortable handling of the baby then gave the impression that he was begging, "Hey, can I hold the baby?" Because he was humiliated by his refusal. She ended up giving him a hug and a kiss for me, but it's also bizarre. I was so scared, wondering, should I hug him? It's hard to hear a newborn cry before they're carried away. I've never seen anything like it. When your loved one is by your side, saying prayers, it's different. I had told all these buddies, even the ones who don't like me, that they would all see it, and it was Chrisean, though I hadn't truly vowed. They make the opposing claim. I've seen them all, including Little and Blue. It's a long story, but there's another court date scheduled for June 10. Some even asked, what was Wax saying when you guys were out? Why are you trying to find out what exactly was said in court? Yes, it appears that they believe I'm prepared this time. I tell it like it is. I catch myself saying things like, "Damn girl, I'm just messing around next time." Everyone froze at that point, including me, as though you could actually sense my presence. The claimants even claimed to have video proof. They mentioned that there was a person dressed in black socks and Gucci slides. Were they capturing footage? They merely had video of themselves attempting to show their presence, which was successful, but they claimed they went to the court. You observed how they were mingling with Journey and Jaidyn. We were already getting annoyed with Whack 100 reading everything aloud, but what can you do? I was like, what? When I saw what had been written, so yeah, I do care about what happens to him. You can see that I'm genuinely worried, not simply pacing. All hands were raised, with some saying comments like, "Damn, I don't know what they're about," and it seems so obvious. I gently squeezed Johnny's hand as we went into the elevator, and he grabbed my jacket. She was always so beautiful and priceless. I could see she did this because she saw me so tenderly. She kept gazing at the infant, then back at me when our eyes connected. I felt something stir inside of me suddenly. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something told me she knew the little one, just as I did. She was like, "Oh my God," staring at me when she saw her again, as if for the first time. Then she turned around and brought her baby over to me so we could begin engaging the way kids do. Yes, she was interacting with me, and I had no choice but to reply. You've seen how babies smile the moment they discover they are loved? Yes, and I believe one of the friends had the babies with her when we entered the elevator, but she wasn't holding anyone at that particular time. She started tugging on my fur coat because behind me, someone else was holding the baby. "Hello, beautiful," I said as I gave her a quick squeeze of the hand. She was too cute for words. That's the way things are. I know you don't hate anything about this, and neither do I. I usually tell people that I don't speak for them, so they can express themselves in any way they like. You understand what I mean? Since these children are indeed blood siblings, the co-parenting should be sincere and should not include me. It's only because of the confusion or tension we generated that we should be together. I believe that our problems shouldn't cause the children to suffer. I felt like, oh my God, you feel me when I saw that little one, and I was wondering what more had happened since I wasn't sure why I had to tell you this. Jaidyn refused to look at me or anybody else, and this page backs up what she said. She was aware that her brother had been involved in a collision, and she also knew that I had been able to obtain a picture of them together, but it wasn't correct. Since you were the only well-known person there, I've noticed that a lot of sweet people approached you. I see you, okay? Blue exclaimed. Even if I don't think highly of him, I do respect that. You know how people say, oh, you got back with him because he promised you everything? Contrary to what you may think, I'm here because someone actually needs me. And when he replies, I like what we need, it makes me happy because I enjoy being there for people in their hour of need. That's what put him in this predicament. You need someone who is loving and supportive, not someone who is cold and unfeeling. You never know. I tell people all the true problems surfaced, like from the hood, my friend, as soon as things started to go south. Everything vanished, leaving us to wonder, now, what are we going to do? Why is this taking place? I understand how you feel, but we can't keep circling back and forth like this. I'm tired of talking about jail stuff. Sometimes people don't know that jail talk is just two individuals talking on the phone in a place where no one else can hear them. Since we're talking about it in public, what more should be said? If someone loves you, they will be there for you no matter what you decide. No one can take control of you. What more could you ask for from him? You are free to act as you please, just as Men Blue did at the beginning. Well, maybe not at the beginning, but let's start from the moment he realized I was one of his employees, and we noticed something about each other. We entered that scenario and then got even more involved in attempting to deal with one issue after another. But I feel like things got a little complicated when we started saying the situation like, okay, I don't want to share you, but I still want to cheat, you know? You have to understand that I was courageous and knew what I couldn't take. He puts on a front, as though he can manage everything if I follow his lead when I witness him react violently. At that point, it's like, okay, the double standard believes in that double standard, but I'm not. You're not a doormat. You know nothing. You put your foot down like, I love you, but you're not going to just do whatever you want while I sit here and wait for you for 20 minutes. Years later, no, I'll look after myself while you look after yourself. Therefore, I believe that was a one-time occurrence, and I got the feeling that he felt, well, underappreciated, given that I was just ovary, could have said something like, hey, this isn't working out, given the situation. But I wasn't really talking to him about what I was doing. Instead, I was saying, I'm actually going to buy this. I guess he thought I was this doormat, but then I was like, man, you feel me? And as things started to go south, he was like, okay, pan over there, I'm he. He's trying to hit me where it hurt. So then a fictitious suggestion that we were already aware was absurd since, ultimately, not even with that, but no. All of that because that's there truly involved me. Like my child, with all of the anxieties being my child's own, as if that's what was most important. Honestly, it was never about anything involving him or me. Rather, it was always about our principles and my emotions, so you could sense who I was. I see how you see it, but I'm just going to go take another one too. I'm not sure how to put it into words, so maybe you could try? Claiming that even at the moments when we were like, okay, crashing, I was saying, I'm not trying to mimic what he did for real, because I know what you're trying to do to me to make me feel. You remember that one time, okay? When he pulled up with that, those were the hard days when we couldn't ignore one another. We had other relationships and things. You stupid, Why would you pull up?" I exclaimed. When Petey or someone else remembered that Petey was at the door, they said, yeah, tell Petey to come outside. He was really around Christmas time, yeah?" Indeed, it is true that they are constantly rotating between the digs, and since I had his phone, I didn't want to believe him or any of the others, and my brother knew all of this, even if he sincerely wanted to see me in person and see all of this somewhere. I could understand the workup, but as I mentioned before, even families and other individuals you deal with are working up a lot on this internet stuff. I went home since there was no way I could explain that to my family, let alone anyone else. A day or two later, I said, "No, I'm not. I'm just going home." After a night of partying, the next day he got into a sleek black automobile, causing Zeus's security to rapturously knock on the door. I nodded and left the premises. I was confused as I stepped outside, wondering what had woken me up from a deep slumber and why he had suddenly interrupted me. "You know, I had the baby with me," I said, "but it seemed to go undetected during our chat." Even with your best friend, you try to work out an uneasy truce after a fight. It's a shaky peace that both sides fervently hope has returned things to normal. Now that I think about it, I'm quite good at making comparisons. When we talk on the phone, he puts me in the position of a frantic running back, avoiding problem after problem. In fact, he played more like a quarterback, and since he didn't live up to my expectations, I decided to metaphorically jump ship and join a new team that was eager to sign afresh. Running back. After that, I didn't see any reason to interact with the team I had left, but he kept hanging around with them. I hate the way he raises these issues, challenging the fundamentals of what makes a football team and the dynamics of player roles. To be clear, when I say that the second string players enter the game, it means that although they are obviously underutilized, they are nonetheless vital. And why should the starting running back no longer start? I get his argument, but I felt that our parting was beneficial to both of us. He appeared to realize that I was prepared to move on, so he made plans for what would happen next. "Okay, what's my next move?" He thought out loud, indicating a shift. I decided, trying to look like one of those unyielding, stoic sorts, I'll be the last to give in. I'll genuinely make my way out after holding my ground. And that's exactly what I did. In my opinion, though, it was their mother who was the real catalyst for trouble, if only she had been the voice of reason all along, unlike Callie, who gambled with her mother's whims. California holds a special place in my heart because, despite knowing the right course of action, she chose differently, for reasons I can't fathom. She's also loyal by nature, a trait that makes you believe you could truly connect with her. We've talked about her before, so all I had to do was not confide in her, wishing she could only see her nephew in person. Her mother never put out fires. She always fueled them, turning little sparks into infernos. People seem to think that I can control what you do, even though I obviously cannot. I've always emphasized that he needs his family, even if I haven't always said family is everything. I give in, I'm tired, busting my ass, and for what? It's obvious, Callie is real, though I typically just report what I've witnessed rather than voice my entire thoughts. I'm pleased Callie had her moment to shine, despite the turmoil with her mother, who's old and detrimental to any relationship. I can't even pinpoint why I feel so tired. There is no turning back from the path she's chosen. It's as if she's accepted living with the consequences as her penance for past missteps. Her mother's influence is a constant barrier. She fuels the fires of discord, believing it preserves her relevance or authority. This has to stop if she ever hopes to fully embrace her role as a grandmother. She claims she can handle the consequences as she swings back and forth between confrontation and reconciliation on a regular basis. However, if this cyclical trauma is all she has to offer, then maybe that's all she'll ever have to offer. Please stop. It's time for a change. Your continued control has caused chaos for far too long. We're sick of the repeated cycles and predictable reactions. For my part, I'm perplexed by LA's frenzied celebrity culture, where fame appears to be both all-pervasive and elusive. This place is typified by Californian culture in that everyone is a celebrity in their own right. Despite his dislike of kisses, Coy Jr.'s actions speak louder than words. He grabs my face with a mischievous glint in his eye, reminding me of how you used to play with his hair, mirroring the way you handled your own. It's fun to watch Coy Jr. grow. He's shooting up so fast, a perfect blend of your traits and mine. "I'll be at your games," he says, clearly picturing a life full of sports and success. His future seemed determined. He doesn't like to be pampered and would rather forge his own path. We're documenting these moments and milestones, waiting to see how you respond to Ray J's latest proposal. He's keen on collaboration, which might just be a wise move for the time being, allowing you to see the true colors of those around us. I'm leading a new team now, striving to inspire with the resilience I've inherited. Zeus had his moment, but in the midst of discussion of comebacks and resuscitations, I find myself less preoccupied with previous associations and more preoccupied with personal development. Whether I'm changing my professional trajectory or strengthening my connections with others, the end aim is always the same: to create a better future. Family dynamics are still complicated. I've done my best to navigate these waters, taking on responsibilities and adjusting my approach. Sometimes it's about keeping the peace. Other times it's about standing your ground. I've struggled to reconcile with a sister and deal with the weight of familial expectations. Whether we're moving forward or backward, in the end, it's about realizing and accepting the roles we play in each other's lives. And through it all, I want to stay true to myself, steer clear of pointless drama, and concentrate on the things that really count. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.